Edward Steichen was a famous photographer who was very active in the 30s, 40s, and passed away in the 70s. But one of the things that's lesser known is that he was also a devout horticulturist. He worked specifically on developing and hybridizing delphiniums, and then exhibited this. In fact, there's a famous exhibition in 1936 of these beautiful flowers. George Gessert, a contemporary artist, does a similar thing that's very much inspired by Steichen's early work. He creates his own hybrids of irises. And so you can see how this plant modification is not something new, but it also is a wonderful example of how artists work with nature. While Steichen lived in France, the Horticultural Society there awarded him with a gold medal in 1913, and he served as the president of the American Delphinium Society from 1935 to 1939. In the early 30s, after leaving his position as a chief of photography for various publications, and more than 10 years before beginning his career of the director of Department of Photography at MoMA, he retired to his Connecticut farm specifically to raise flowers. Among the delphinium breeds Steichen hybridized were Carl Sandburg, named for his brother-in-law and close friend, and a Nobel Prize-winning poet and author. And in the 60s, he named another breed Connecticut Yankees. In June 1936, the Museum of Modern Art presented its first and only dedicated flower show named Edward Steichen's Delphiniums, which exhibited for 1 week only plants that Steichen had raised and then delivered to the museum galleries in a truck himself. George Gessert, a bioartist inspired by Steichen, began his career as a painter and printmaker, and began breeding plants as an art form in the late 70s. In the 80s, his work started focusing specifically on this overlap between art and genetics, and he has exhibited a series of installations of hybrids and documentation of his breeding projects. He creates his artistic irises specifically by hybridizing wild varieties and discarding the undesirable results. He is especially interested in plant aesthetics and the way that human aesthetic preferences affect evolution, and calls his practice genetic folk art. His work points to the way nature is interpreted, even authored by humans, and his focus has been mainly on irises and other ornamental flowers.